The world is full with unexplainable and creepy things that happen night and day. Chances are that even you became witness of something strange that you could not find any explanation for. In this video, we want to take a look at 10 creepy things that actually really happened to different people. The first story is about Amanda, who tells us that her little sister has an imaginary friend. His name is Charles. Her sister catches the boy, who is around 5 or 6 years old, sitting on her bed once in a while. He's waiting for his mom. When the little girl asked him where his mom is, he answered that he is not allowed to go home by himself because of his arm. After further questioning him, he said that his mom ran him over when he was drawing with chalk on the street. That is also the reason why the boy is always found crying on the little girl's bed. He's very sad because he knows he died. In the second story, we learn about a young family who installed a baby monitor in their child's room. The child is crying a lot at night and they were owning a large house, so it made sense in the end to install one of these monitors. The father said that they would normally point the baby monitor towards the kid at night, but lately the kid started playing with it now and then, so that they have decided to move it a bit further away. One night, the parents woke up after hearing crying from the baby monitor. When checking on the monitor, this disturbing picture was captured. It appears that something very sinister was standing next to the baby. Next, we hear about Jordan, who is waking in the middle of the night because she had to go to the bathroom. Slowly walking outside of her room, her cell phone in one hand and not really paying attention because it was pretty dark, she bumped into a girl in a white dress, still halfway asleep. She apologized and kept walking without even looking up. Moments later, it dawned on her that no one else was home that night, since her parents were still visiting family over the weekend. When she checked if someone else was in the house, she could find no one. The next day, a friend came over to pick her up. They wanted to go to the movies together. After answering the door, the friend asked why Jordan was staring at him through the upstairs window and why she had changed out of her white dress. The next story is about Catherine, who was giving an old Ouija board a try last weekend with a bunch of her friends. No one except Catherine was really a believer, and they were joking a lot that these boards don't work and that it is all just made up. After starting the game, Catherine asked the spirit world to please prove to everyone that this is not a game, and for proof, a ghost should touch her shoulder. They never got any response, nor did the piece of wood move once. Karen suddenly felt a stinging pain in her back. When a friend was checking on her, they found 3 handprints on her back. They were red and puffy, like someone had slapped her on the back. At night, she was plagued by a horrible nightmare about an old woman standing in her bedroom. She never touched the board again. When Christina was visiting her brother and family over the weekend, she was staying with them in their old Victorian house. She was lying on the futon with her little niece and both were slowly drifting off. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning. Suddenly, without any notice, the TV turned on, full blast with a static screen. Both pretty much jumped out of the bed. It took Christina a couple of moments to relax a little. When she was asking her little niece why the TV would turn on its own, and if that ever happened before, her niece just shrugged and answered that they turn it on every night at this time. Right before the little girl fell back to sleep, Christina was not able to sleep anymore that night. Penelope reports that one night, when she and her boyfriend were sleeping in the bed of their apartment, seemingly out of nowhere, a framed photo hanging on the wall crashed to the ground. In panic, both of them inexplicably awoke. In this moment, her boyfriend was saying that this situation was pretty terrifying because he was dreaming the exact same thing 1 minute ago, but that Penelope's mother was stabbed to death in his dream. After a couple of moments, they were hearing a loud scream from the kitchen. It was Penelope's mom. She sounded pretty scared and was calling for her daughter. Both of them were frozen in fear at that point, because there was nobody in the apartment but the two. And what makes it even scarier is the fact that Penelope's mother was not even living in the same country. Next is a picture of Sue, who snapped this when she was walking by the infamous Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky. Of course, this place is abandoned and no one was in the building at that point in time when she took the picture. The image seems to depict a middle-aged lady staring out into the front yard. It is said that countless people died in this location when the Waverly Hills Sanatorium was still open. Another really spooky Ouija board story from Valera. She and a friend were playing with one of those boards in her house when suddenly the rotary phone started to click, like the receiver was being tampered with. Both found that a very odd occurrence. Weeks later, Valera was watching TV when she was home alone at night. Out of nowhere, she was hearing the exact same sound of the phone clicking from upstairs again. Valera's family had a second phone hooked up in the living room that had a red light come on if the line was being used. Every time she heard the phone clicking upstairs, the light came on. When she fell asleep that night in her bed, she felt a hand on her shoulder. The hand started to rock her forth and back. She was in some sort of sleep paralysis at that point and could finally snap out when she awoke by a humming sound. Valera still has trouble sleeping alone at night. Cameron was sleeping alone in her room that she was normally sharing with her 6-year-old sister, but she was sleeping at their auntie's place that night, so Cameron was all alone. Her sister had a toy McDonald's cash register with a drive-through radio that played a recording if you pressed the button. While slowly dozing off, Cameron heard the words, "Welcome to McDonald's, can I take your order?" from inside the closet. She then took the toy out of its box and turned it off, before setting it on a shelf to go back to sleep. After 20 minutes, she awoke again to a harsh whisper saying, "I would like chicken McNuggets, please." Right after that, she bolted out of that room. The last story is about Amber's little kid, who woke her up by lying next to her in her bed one night. When asking how and why he was lying with her in bed, he simply answered that he came to protect her from the light eyes that were standing over her while she was sleeping. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you liked today's episode. Please leave a like and if you want, a subscription to my channel. Stay frosty.